Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode we're going to be studying a piece by the established digital illustrator Agastya Chaturvedi, and in this episode we're going to be looking at the idea of fossilization, and we're also going to explore the symbol known as Quetzalcoatl, so let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, of course, we have this lone subject, kind of a beastly figure caught inside profile here. Our first impression may be rather curious due to the strange and even unsettling sight before us here. One of the things you may notice when you first look at this work is the impact of color, right? We already have a very vibrant color palette. We see this, of course, a base blue, but upon that, it's going to be this kind of orangish red. So that gives us a complementary color scheme. Of course, orange or red on top of a blue is always going to contrast each other and really fight for the viewer's attention. So I think that's a brilliant accent and gives that vibrance as well. Another thing you may notice is the impact of texture. We see this quite clearly, right? I would say most notably in that backing, that kind of static backing, but we see that everywhere across our subject's form. It is rather rough, gives a sense of not only realism, but also introduces a bit of visual energy as well. So you can't miss that there. So here we are met face to face with a symbol known as Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is a multivariate symbol really in South America and kind of South Northern America, and it's absolutely stunning. It is an amazing intro, and there's no doubt it's going to leave a lasting impression on all who stand before it. What you may notice about this figure is the sheer amount of curves within the work at hand. When we see so many different curves, it really does give a sense of implied motion, as if it's kind of creeping or reaching out there. It's hard to say for sure, but there is no doubt that it gives us a sense of motion as if it's kind of caught in candid motion there. It's quite interesting. The original artist, when creating this work, cites the idea of fossils, primarily kind of like a bird fossil, and we see that quite similarly within the work at hand here. Fossils, by their very nature, freeze something in time and preserve it for very long as well. So we certainly see that within the work before us here. It is kind of limited, but also infinite at the same time. So the subject, the original artist was talking about this idea of life and death, or the juxtaposition between that. So although it seems as if our subject is moving, it is also caught and preserved within a fossilized structure as well. So kind of a unique juxtaposition, of course, contrasts each other, but is absolutely stunning, and there's no doubt about that. And we can draw so many different connections to this, right? Art itself, in many ways, can be seen in the context of fossilization through time. One of the biggest reasons we know so many things about cultures from the past is because their art has been preserved to this very day. So you can think of that as a fossilized element. And of course, we can learn so much from that fossilization that ends up to this very day. So it's absolutely stunning. So Quetzalcoatl, like I said, really is an ancient symbol. And even with, of course, symbols through time, it's had quite a bit of change as well. It represents everything from life to light and so many different things, even knowledge itself. You go to different areas in kind of southern North America, really the region of Mexico and Central America, you'll see Quetzalcoatl has many different meanings, and it's quite interesting how different symbols can be interpreted in many different ways, but all in all, they are seen as a deity of some kind or another. So we see this kind of divine element to the work at hand, right? Not only does it have that vibrance, but there is this surreal or spiritual quality to the piece at hand. Of course, this ghastly subject's face. It is absolutely stunning, and of course, so much visual energy to the work at hand. This vibrance can't be missed either. So really have to talk about that. You really can't miss it when you're looking at this work. It gives an incredible sense of dynamism, right? You see so many layers to the piece at hand. This really is a digital illustration and a true testament to the medium in which it was created. So, of course, painstakingly painted and illustrated upon a screen. And of course, we see the brilliant results of that here. It appears as if our subject is kind of caught in the midst of flight, right? Kind of evolving through time. So he's caught between, of course, life and death, but kind of immortalized or frozen in between that state of being. So it's absolutely stunning. We always love to look at those insights. I would bring in some other pieces from Agastya Chaturvedi, but this one is so unique in and of itself, right? There really is nothing that I can put next to it to compare it to. It is incredibly unique, and there's no doubt about that. I think the original artist knows this as well, because this is actually used as a cover for releases of a new kind of EP or album. So he creates music as well as does a lot of digital illustrations. So if you want to check out the original artist, go check out his music. It's absolutely stunning. It's on everything from Spotify to Apple Music. You'll see it quite clearly because this is the cover of that album or EP. So it's an absolutely stunning piece, and I think it is truly appropriate for such a release as that. So like I said, this is a digital illustration, so it was painstakingly painted upon a screen. We see the stunning results of that, of course, the human touch and so many layers layers to the work at hand. It almost reminds of a sea creature in a way, but like we said, we are talking about the idea of fossils and so many different things that go into that. So absolutely stunning. We love to see the fossilization of such an amazing creature and symbol up to this very day for us to study. So really hope y'all enjoyed today. We talked about a few different things from the symbolism of Quetzalcoatl all the way to the dynamism and the layering of the work at hand, the impact of texture, impact of vibrancy, different colors, and how they play into one another. There is no doubt that this is a stunning piece, a very symbolic piece as well, and I really hope y'all enjoyed today. If y'all did, go check out the original artist Agastya Chaturvedi, also known as Botanasant or Mott Factory, if y'all want to check him out on Instagram. Always doing some amazing stuff in the world of digital illustration. There's no doubt that he pays very close attention to the symbolism and the meaning behind the works he creates. So, like I said, really hope y'all enjoyed today. If y'all did, go check out the original artist. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.